Chapter 22, a victim of treachery. Now we know John Canty and Hugo rescue the prince from hermit's hands and take him back to the thieves' camp. Right. Now Prince is back in the thieves' camp after this incident. Therefore, he becomes a victim. A victim of treachery. Treachery means betrayal, going against. Now, the prince is regarded as not as a friend, but as an enemy. Enemy of the gang. Why? He has betrayed Hugo. He has revealed Hugo's true nature to society. Right. Now, let's read that part, chapter. But here the prince becomes a different person. The prince becomes somewhat aggressive, violent, unruly, like other beggars, other tramps. He fights, fight with fight. You understand? He fights, fight with fight. He becomes evil to the evil people. He becomes cruel to the cruel people. Right. Now let's read that part. A victim of treachery. Once more, Fufu the First. Now we know the king, so the princess nickname given by the tramps. In earlier chapters, we found it. Fufu the First was roving with tramps and outlaws, roving, moving, walking here and there with tramps and outlaws. Again, but means victim for their coarse jests, rough jokes, dull-witted railleries. Dull-witted means not funny. Boring jokes, railleries. And sometimes the victim of small spitefulness. Sometimes the prince becomes some victim of hatred, jealousy, spitefulness means, at the hands of Canty and Hugo. Now, most often Hugo and Canty, they ill-treat, badly treat this boy. When the ruffler's back was turned, when there is no ruffler, actually this ruffler, you know, this ruffler is somewhat kind-hearted. He always protects the prince. John Canty and Hugo's spitefulness, so wickedness. Some of the others liked him and all admired his pluck and spirit. This prince has great pluck and spirit, high morale, courageous character, brave-hearted character. Pluck and spirit means his brave-hearted nature. Pluck and spirit. Right? Pluck and spirit. They love it. During 2 or 3 days, Hugo in whose ward? Now, Hugo is still the custodian or protector or the guardian of the prince. Charge, the king did what he covertly could do secretly. Covertly means Hugo does everything secretly to hurt the prince, to make the boy uncomfortable. Uncomfortable means not very comfortable or inconvenience. Twice he stepped upon the king's toes, accidentally, and king, as became royalty, was contemptuously unconscious of it and indifferent to it. Now sometimes Hugo stamps on the prince's toes, feet, but prince does not care because of his royal nature, contemptuously, angrily, disregarded, unconscious, unaware of it, indifferently, didn't care. Not caring, indifferent means. But the third time, but Hugo's hurting, Hugo's torture have no end. He continuously tortured this boy, hurt this boy. But the third time Hugo entertained himself in this way, the king failed him, attacked him. The prince attacked Hugo. Failed him means attack and put him down. Right. Himself failed him, knocked him. Right. To the ground with a cudgel, with a stick. You know that this prince is a serious fighter. Hugo sprang up. Hugo got up. He took a cudgel, another stick or pole, and came at his small adversary. He stood before his small adversary. Adversary means opponent or enemy, fighter, in a fury, angrily. Instantly, a ring was formed around the gladiators. Now they become gladiators. Gladiators means fighters, Roman fighters. Now they become fighters. Quickly, all people, all beggars, tramps stand around the two fighters in a ring, in a circle, to watch the fight. They are very happy. They are cheering to see this fight. But poor Hugo stood no chance whatever against an arm which had been trained by the first masters of Europe in single stick. Now you know this prince is a master of stick fighting. Therefore, Hugo has no chance. Hugo is not a trained fighter, but the prince is a trained fighter. He is trained in single stick, quarterstaff, and every art and trick of swordsmanship. What is swordsmanship? Sword fighting. The prince is trained for all sort of fighting methods, techniques. Therefore, Hugo has no chance to win. The little king stood. The little king stood. Now you can see they are fighting. Hugo is down. Stick fighting, cudgel in the hand, right? The little king stood alert. Alert means we're ready. Alert, but grateful is without any inconvenience, gracefully, and turned aside the thick rain of blows, thick attacks, blows, assaults from Hugo with a facility, skillfulness, cleverness. Facility means with tact, skillfulness and precision to the point, which said the motley onlookers, these princes, fighting skills, said the motley, these ugly onlookers, spectators, beggars, tramps, wild with admiration, they became full of admiration about the prince's fighting skills, his arts, martial arts. They have never seen such a fight. And every now and then, when it's practiced, The prince has a trained eye. Practice means trained eye. Detected an opening. Show, caught. Detected means caught. And opening means weak point, weak place. And a lightning swift rap, a quick attack. Blow, rap means quick blow. A lightning quick blow or attack or rap came on Hugo's head. Now you can see the picture, how Hugo is feeling his head after Princess attack. Okay, right. Followed as a result. Head followed as a result. And a storm of cheers, people began to give storm of cheers, happy voices, cheering the prince. And even they laugh at Hugo. And these laughter and cheers swept the place, something wonderful to hear. At the end of 15 minutes, after 15 minutes fighting, Hugo all battered, well beaten. Battered means Hugo is well beaten, attacked. Well beaten by the prince. Right, battered. Learn that word. Well battered. Right. Bruised, wounded. Bruised means wounded. And the target for pitiless bombardment of ridicule. Ridicule means humiliation. All people, all tramps laugh at Hugo, ridicule at him. He slunk from, went away. Silently went away from the field. The unscathed hero, undefeated. Unscathed means undefeated hero, that is the prince of the fight, was seized. He was taken, borne aloft. He was held aloft, high up. The people take the prince onto their shoulders, upon their shoulders. The joyous, rebel, happy people. Rebel means these tramps. They took the prince to the place of honor, in honorable place, beside the roofler. They keep the prince by the roofler. What is the idea? They mean the prince is good for their next leader, because when he becomes an adult, would be a good leader, like roofler. That is why he is kept by the roof, where with the vast ceremony, great ceremony, he was crowned. He was crowned. Crown means honored. Given another name, this time a name of honorable name, respectable name. What is this nickname? King of the Gamecock. Now, Prince's new name is King of the Gamecocks. King of the Gamecocks. Now you can see the prince becomes a famous person among the tramps. After this fight, he earns a good place. He earns a good place because of his fighting skills. Now everybody respects the prince as a hero, right? As a hero. He is next to Ruffler now. He is going to be sometimes he may be the next leader. Therefore, Hugo does not tolerate, Hugo does not like this prince's new recognition, new place in this tramp society, new place among the tramps. He becomes very jealous. He's very jealous. He's very jealous of Hugo, the prince. Why? Now the prince is a great person, respectable character. Among the tramps. Therefore, Hugo planned something against the prince. The prince must be removed from the tram society. Hugo makes a plan, right? Hugo makes a plan. Now we'll see what their plan is. Okay, write down up to this point. Write down victim of treachery. Chapter 22. Depicts some other new episode of the prince's journey through the beggar's world. John Canty and Hugo. John Canty and Hugo rescue the prince from the hermit's hut and carry him back to back to the trams. However, this time the trams welcome the prince in a different way. He is regarded as a treacherous, Treacherous, a treacherous character, regarded as a treacherous character who went against the gang. Who went against the gang. The prince also The prince also turns into. The prince also turns into a different character. Full stop. Different character. He begins to fight. He begins to fight evil, E-V-I-L. He begins to fight evil with evil. He begins to fight evil with evil. Evil with evil. Hugo and John Canty, next sentence. Hugo and John Canty are the two persons. Are the two persons who often hurt the prince physically, who often hurt the prince physically when there is no ruffler. When there is no ruffler. Ruffler. However, behind Ruffler's protection, behind Ruffler's protection, Hugo hurts the prince. Hugo hurts the prince. But one day, the princess Patience, Patience, one day the princess Patience goes beyond his limit. When Hugo hurts, the prince, he knocks him down. He knocks him down. He knocks him down. Amidst the cheering, amidst the cheering of other trams. Soon, other trams, full stop. Soon, a stick fighting soon a stick fighting comes up between Hugo and the prince. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Hugo has no chance. Hugo has no chance against the well-trained prince. Well-trained prince. At the end of this fight, the prince wins. And Hugo is well battered. Hugo is well battered. The prince's victory. The prince's victory earns him earns him a heroic place. Heroic place. Everyone admires. Princess Victory earns him a heroic place among the tramps. The tramps keep the prince by roofless side. The tramps keep the prince by roofless side, indicating that he may be their next leader. Next leader. The prince is given even a new name. New name in honor of his fighting skills and bravery. In honor of his fighting skills and bravery. His new name is King of the Gamecocks. King of the Gamecocks. King of the Gamecocks.